Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Cubicle Brief, a weekly review of the latest and sometimes the most unusual news and events impacting leaders, organizations, and those who get the work done each day. We'll cover the latest in human resources, labor relations, leadership, and health and safety headlines, giving you the opportunity to stay on top of what matters most in a sea of endless information. COVID-19, vaccines, and now mandates. It will be refreshing when our lives can break free from the orbit of a pandemic that has consumed our attention, time, energy, and in many cases our health and well-being. On Friday, November 12th, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit issued an order staying the enforcement and implementation of OSHA's Emergency Temporary Standard. One noteworthy comment the court provided from the ruling is that the ETS is both over-inclusive, applying to virtually all industries and their employees with little attempt to account for differences in risk, and under-inclusive in that it was created to save employees working for employers with 100 or more employees, but not protect those with fewer than 100 employees. It is interesting to note that in the wake of the government's request last week for the American worker to be a whistleblower for OSHA to enforce the mandate, that the NLRB, DOL, and EEOC announced a joint initiative to combat worker retaliation. Make sure you are adhering to the principles, values, and enforcement of your anti-retaliation policies. So what should an employer do now that we are well into the fourth quarter and potential actionable dates are just over the horizon? Some legal experts advise to continue preparing, considering the amount of work required. Others are advising a wait-and-see approach. OSHA stated it has, quote, suspended activities related to the implementation and enforcement of the ETS, pending future developments in the litigation, end quote. Whichever decision made should be backed by a thorough risk analysis and resource assessment. That takes me to my next story, the Great Resignation, a term coined by Anthony Klotz, an associate professor of management at Texas A&M, as stated in an article in Time back on October 13th titled, Why Literally Millions of Americans Are Quitting Their Jobs. On November 12th, CNN Business reported a record number of Americans quit their jobs in September. That record is 4.4 million. Why so many? One reason is the ability to find something better due to the 10.4 million open positions recorded in September. It is a worker market. Individuals are seeking not only better wages and benefits, but better work-life balance, flexibility in scheduling, and where one works. The pandemic forced many businesses to operate differently, but it also created a different set of expectations for the American worker. Leaders in HR departments can no longer hold on to the archaic traditions of hiring, training, and retention. Employers need to understand the needs of the employee at the beginning and throughout their careers and not wait for the exit interview to learn what they didn't understand or didn't want to hear. In the world of labor relations this past week, General Counsel to the National Labor Relations Board, Jennifer Abruzzo, issued a memorandum on November 10th outlining bargaining obligations under OSHA's Emergency Temporary Standard. It is very clear from this memo that employers have an obligation to bargain to agreement or impasse over the effects of the ETS and associated company policies to comply with the standard, or the employer's decision of how to comply with the ETS where there is discretion. Consult with your labor counsel to determine how you will address this obligation and how it might influence your broader labor relations strategy. Lastly, health and safety professionals have assuredly been stretched over the last 21 months in ways they probably could never have imagined. Dealing with a virus that had little understanding, protecting essential workers at the height of the pandemic, creating new policies and procedures, these professionals now embrace how they are linked to others in the organization responsible for looking at employees in a holistic manner. It is not always about ladders, heat, silica, machines, and power tools. The health and safety professionals of today must be as good at inspecting the needs of those he or she serves as inspecting the workplace for the inanimate risks that exist. Despite the many challenges, frustrations, and losses, COVID-19 has taught us much about being better leaders, employers, and employees. Links to the articles referenced are found in the description. Leave a comment and subscribe to catch the latest news impacting the workplace. Until next time, remember to look for the answers to your challenges among those who get the work done.